What's up, guys? I wanted to do a video about how did I get into this mess. See this? This is Boo Cat's. Whoop. Boo was it? Tip over tail. She's very unhappy because I woke her up to do this video. Still half asleep there. Meow meow. So how did I get into this mess? I want to do a simplified version. Not. Jeez, my chair just fell back. Not too complex, but just straightforward and honest. I knew within the first before the first 2 weeks, I knew within the first 2 weeks that there was something really, really off about this individual. I, previous in my life, have been priding myself on following my gut. This time, I did not. So I knew there was something off. I knew there was something crazy. Something just a bit strange. But here's where everything started to change. Is when we would talk. She would tell me these stories about how everybody in her past was abusive and how she'd been fucked over so much, and she just wanted somebody that loved her and was authentic and this, that, and the other. So even though all these red flags were like fucking waving everywhere, and my gut was screaming at me like, "Nick, you fucking idiot, run!" I stayed. Why? So I fell under two things. First was a fallacy that this individual just needs to be showed love, and then she'll be okay. Sounds good, right? Sounds okay. If you treat her right, she'll act right. She just needs to be shown that she's actually loved. Yeah. No. Simple answer. No. The other part of that is that was all. Looking back at this, within the first 2 weeks, I was already being manipulated. All those stories about her being abused and this, that, and the other, that was all bullshit and used against me, or used to I guess, garner sympathy and garner, oh, you poor baby. All fucking bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. I've ran into some of her exes. I can tell immediately that they're not those type of people. Number two is it's the same thing that she probably is saying about me right now to the new guys that she's trying to get with. Oh, my ex-boyfriend was such an abusive shit. She's doing the same cycle over again. I know it. There's no fucking doubt about it. So, I went into it with good intentions. I went into it wanting to just be a good guy to her because, I felt sorry for her. In a lot of ways, I felt like she had never been properly loved before, and I was like, I'm capable of doing that, That was the first part of it. The second part of it, why I fell into this trap, was I had reached a point where I started to doubt my gut feelings. Since I've been 14 years old, my motto has been trust your gut. I'm shit you not. I've done it my entire life. It's never failed me. Never has. But at some point during that time, I read an article that altered my perspective, altered my prescription. No, altered my perspective on that. And it was saying, it was somewhere along the lines where if you've been traumatized in childhood, your gut feelings can be wrong, and they're a neural pathway that so on and so forth. So, you know, you might have a gut feeling that somebody's bad, but they're not. It's just because you were in some kind of abusive relationship or something. Makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. Uh, at the time, it made sense. But today, I would say that's complete fucking horseshit. Your gut feeling is your emotions, and your emotions are there for a reason. Um, my gut was going off not because I had been actually, you know, maybe it was going off because I had been abused as a kid. I was like, "Hey, asshole, this has happened to you before. Fucking go, run, stop." Either way, so when after I read that article, I was like, you know, maybe I'm being judgmental. Maybe I'm presuming too much about her. Like, you know, like so. In that moment, along with the fallacy of if I love her enough, she'll change, I had two. Um, doubt yourself is what I had. Doubt yourself. Doubt your gut. So that's definitely. I mean, and there's no question about it. I mean, there was a couple moments I completely remember, like when I take showers. I've discussed this before. I love my showers. Okay, people. I was sitting in the shower, letting the hot water run over me, and I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, God, something's just not right, and something's not right. And I was thinking about the article, and I was like, okay, Nick, you need. I made the conscious decision. You need to just test this out. Let's see if your gut's right or wrong. And that's where it all started. Um, oh, yeah, and the other minute reasons, not as great reasons, is you know, that particular time I was lonely. Um, that particular time I was it was during maybe shortly after my first like big boy job, so it was like I was miserable. It sucked ass. And I would like come home at night and it was just an empty apartment and me. And it was like, man, you know, it's kind of like, okay, so I've completed college, I've gotten the job, and kind of like the next logical step was me. It was like, okay, well, now you need to get a partner, right? So I had that belief instilled in me as well. It's like, okay, it's time to get a partner for real. So there was multiple facets there, but all of them, every single one of them, were wrong. Um, I don't want to admit that I was wrong and I'm an idiot. I'm certainly not. If anything, I just overthought things. If I just stuck with my gut, uh, definitely would have not happened. Um, so you know, in the mindset of how do you prevent this in the future, I think those are important things to understand. Always trust your gut. Never assume that somebody just needs a little bit more love to act correctly. They act the way they do because that's the way they are. Be careful of their stories. They can be lies. And then, so you get the point. You get the point. You get the point. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of it because it's 4 a.m. here. And I went to bed too early. And I woke up at 2 a.m. and now I'm wide awake. Lovely. But, so, if I had to call it, and I know a lot of people are not agreeing with this because it's going to, just take power away from the victims. And by no means should you. Abuse is abuse, and it's not right. And it's not okay, ever. But if I had to say all this, boiled down to one thing, it was probably my fault that the relationship began. I'm not saying it was my fault that I was abused. It was my fault that the relationship began. Everything in my body told me to go, to run, to not stay. Everything. I just knew it. But I was just in a particular situation to where I was feeling vulnerable. I wanted to love. I saw somebody that needed love. And I thought, hey, I can be that guy. So yeah, my fault that the relationship began. But once it began, it was not my fault that I was abused by any stretch of the imagination. So anyway, just interesting thoughts. I wanted to get that out there before I forgot about it. I have like 18,000 video ideas, and they come and go as they will. So, alrighty.